So we have a sister who's speaking out on what it was like living with a white mother and a black father, the interracial parenting household, and experiencing racism for the first time at the age of 6 at the hands of her own mother. Take a look.
You have a white mother and a black father?
Yes. I have five sisters, and we all look different, but I look a lot like my dad.
Hmm.
So I experienced the worst of it. My mother is white. She's German. First time I experienced racism was from my own mother. And it was when she was upset with us most of the time. Like most white tea people, they when they become frustrated and upset, the racism emerges. The mask falls off and it comes out. So
Hmm.
when my mom was angry, she'd be like, "You little N word, B words."
Oh.
So that shocked me to the core. I think I was like 6 or something when I first heard that. Imagine being that young. And it was very conflicting because my mom took very good care of me. She was a housewife, and I know she loved me, but I could see the racism, so it was just very confusing.
In your opinion, do you think that she was intentionally being racist?
I think she was trying to inflict harm on us because she was frustrated. And so, yeah, I think a little bit of it was intentional. Like, I'm angry at you, so I'm going to let you know how I really feel, or I'm going to let you know that I'm superior, or this is what you really are. Even though you're my daughter, this is how I look at you.
Was your father around?
Yes, my parents were married for 50 years.
Okay. Did your father at any time hear your mother call you a little NB?
Yeah, I think he heard her a few times say it, and he got angry with her. So, and then some. I mean, a few times he got angry with her, and then other times he didn't say anything. So,
Do you remember how it felt to be called that by your mother?
yeah, I know. By the age of 6, unfortunately, I knew what that meant. Yeah, I was hurt, and I was just like, that's when I first started to build a rift between me and my mom. I was a daddy's girl to the core.
Did it affect your relationship between you and your father knowing that he heard her say this and he didn't do anything about it?
There was a lot of domestic abuse in my household, so I don't know what he was doing, but I know that they did not get along a lot. It is very hard for interracial couples to get along. They have the highest divorce rate.
Hmm.
Interracial facts, and people think they glamorize it so much, but it is very hard to be as a biracial person. It is very hard to be raised in two different races, two different cultures. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It's hard. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend mixing. I think racism is ingrained, and it usually comes out when people are angry. And it doesn't matter if they're in an interracial relationship. It doesn't matter. It's ingrained in us, and that's why there's so much racism and colorism. It's on a psychic, subconscious level. So you can date how many people you want outside your race. It's usually a reflection of self hatred. It's usually some kind of battle within that you're trying to rectify through a relationship with a person that doesn't share the same race and culture as you. But then the children really suffer. Like me and my sister suffered a lot. We're all different colors. We're like a kitty litter. Like literally, all of us. Some of us look closer to white. Some of us look closer to black. Like me, there was this competition with us because of our mom. She favored the closer one that looked more white. She always complimented them more. You know what I'm saying? And then they thought they were superior because of that. And then I was called all kinds of names because of my complexion. I look kind of light now, but I get really dark in the summer, like my dad, like dark. And I love to be out in the sun, so they used to call me darky. uh, they used to call me spooky when I got a tan, like my own sisters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So my mom, from her colorism and her favoritism, created a competition within us that still exists till this day.
There are so many things that are super upsetting and problematic about this sister's story. First of all, being 6 years old to begin with and hearing your white mother say to you, get in, if you don't get here, N word. And also knowing that she had an understanding of what, racism was at the age of 6. And then compounded with when she spoke about her father, saying that, there were times where he heard, her mother say it. And sometimes he addressed it and sometimes he did not. Also, she mentions that, her and her sisters are all different shades of melanin, some lighter than others, and she is more of a darker complexion, although she really is, a lighter skinned person. But I guess in her family, she was considered to be more of a darker skinned person and was very aware of how she was treated differently than her sisters that were of a lighter complexion, closer to her mother's complexion, as she said. And she also speaks on, advising against interracial relationships based on what she grew up in, which sounds to me like it was a toxic household, like it was a household that was full of abuse, and racism. But what's so troubling to me is that you're hearing that from your own mother, the person who gave you life. And she mentioned that her mother was very loving and took good care of them, but you're still a racist. And what does that say? That actually confirms what we always hear from people that are always saying, just because you have a black child or just because you have a black husband or a black best friend or whatever, it doesn't mean you're not a racist. Because when anger hits you, then the real person comes out. And I always say it too. Just because you have some form of blackness in your family does not make you not an anti-black racist. It doesn't exonerate you. And this is a prime example of it, right? So when this sister is saying that, being in a interracial relationship, she wouldn't wish that on anybody. Here's a prime example. This was her life. And I'm sure it has shaped and molded the way that she lives her life and who she allows, in her life and in her heart based on her experience growing up. And it's truly unfortunate. But this is something to think about because you're not just hearing it from me as a black person who's saying, well, I don't care for it and, I wouldn't involve. You're hearing it from somebody who grew up in that environment. Okay. And some people will say, well, it's not everybody. And I know some people who are white and are married to a black man and vice versa. And they've been together for 20, 30 years and they're just fine and their children are happy. Okay, great. I'm just saying we've seen so many examples of this. And we've heard from so many biracial children that are actually pleading for people to stop engaging in biracial or interracial relationships. So it's coming out of their mouth, not just us. So something to think about. But you let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News app. You can grab it at the Google or Apple store. Download that app. Also, subscribe